Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, the place where coins come to life, and where the tiniest treasures turn into the biggest surprises. Today, we're about to unlock the secrets of a small but mighty coin. It's the Roosevelt dime from 1977. That's right, just 10 cents. But don't let its size or its face value fool you. This little silver-colored coin could be worth more than your car, or even more than your college tuition. Sounds impossible? Stick with me, because by the time we reach the end of this video, you'll see exactly how a humble 1977 dime with the right mint mark and a rare twist of fate can turn into a collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars. And yes, we'll reveal the exact number, all $95,000, at the very end, so don't go anywhere. Let's set the stage. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946. It was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945, and his image has graced the front of the dime ever since. The reverse originally featured a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. It's simple, iconic, and easily recognizable, the perfect design for a coin that's been part of everyday American life for nearly 8 decades. Now, let's fast forward to 1977. The US was still shaking off the aftereffects of the Vietnam War, disco fever was peaking, Star Wars had just hit theaters, and in the world of American coinage, billions of coins were being minted to keep up with everyday commerce. Among them was the 1977 Roosevelt dime, an unassuming little coin struck at 3 major US mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell where your dime was minted by the tiny mint mark located just above the date on the obverse. That's the front of the coin, where Roosevelt's portrait is. A D means it was minted in Denver, an S means San Francisco, and, starting in 1980, Philadelphia coins started carrying a P mint mark. But here's the key detail: in 1977, Philadelphia dimes did not have a mint mark. So if you see no mint mark at all, it's from Philly. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about the 1977 dime? Here's where things get really exciting. Every once in a while, something goes wrong during the minting process. A machine slips, a die is misaligned, or the wrong planchet is used. These errors are rare. Sometimes, only a few coins are affected before the mistake is caught. But if those error coins make it out into circulation before anyone notices, that's when things get interesting, and potentially very valuable. One of the most famous errors found in Roosevelt dimes is the missing mint mark, particularly on proof coins. San Francisco, the mint responsible for producing most of the U.S. proof coin sets, accidentally released some coins where the S mint mark was completely missing. That may sound like a tiny detail, but to collectors, it's a big deal. A proof coin missing its mint mark from 1977 is a rare bird, and one that collectors chase with fierce determination. But that's just the beginning. Some 1977 dimes were also struck on the wrong planchets, meaning they were accidentally stamped on metal blanks intended for other coins or even foreign currency. That can result in a dime that weighs less, looks odd, or even has unusual coloration. These off-metal strikes are incredibly rare and often escape detection for years, until someone finally takes a closer look at their change. Then there are the double die errors. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice, slightly misaligned, leading to noticeable doubling in the date, lettering, or other parts of the coin. These kinds of errors are highly collectible, especially when they're clearly visible and the coin is otherwise in great condition. But here's the real kicker: condition is everything. A dime with a rare error in terrible shape might only be worth a few dollars. But a coin with that same rare feature in mint or near mint condition? That's when the price tags start to climb into jaw-dropping territory. That's where coin grading comes into play. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS-60 is considered mint state, but if you're lucky enough to have a 1977 dime graded MS-67 or MS-68 with a documented error, especially a missing mint mark, double die, or off-metal strike, you could be looking at something truly special. Now here's something most people don't know. In the world of coin collecting, the Roosevelt dime is often overlooked. It's so small, so common, and used so frequently that people assume there's no value in it. But that's exactly what makes it such a hidden treasure. Because while everyone else is ignoring these little coins, you could be the one to spot the golden goose in your loose change. Imagine you find an old 1977 Roosevelt dime in a forgotten drawer, or tucked away in a coin jar. You take a closer look. Maybe it has no mint mark, or maybe it has strange doubling, or an odd shine that doesn't match other dimes. You send it in for grading. Weeks go by. Then the results come in. Your dime is authentic. It's rare. It has a high grade. And suddenly, you're not just holding a piece of pocket change. You're holding something that collectors across the country are willing to fight for at auction, and now, it's time to reveal the number you've been waiting for. One particular 1977 Roosevelt dime, verified by experts, authenticated by professional grading services, and featuring a rare mint error in pristine condition, recently sold for a staggering amount of money. That tiny 10-cent coin sold for a whopping $95,000, yes, $95,000. For a dime, and that's why we say, no coin is too small to matter. Every single one of them has the potential to be more than it appears. If you know what to look for. So here's your challenge: check your change. Dig into those coin jars. Go through your old coin collections and pay special attention to the dimes. Especially the ones from 1977. You never know what you might be holding. Today's video is going to completely change the way you look at your pocket money, because today, we're shining a spotlight on a small coin with a massive secret, the 1992 Roosevelt dime. Yes, you heard that right. The dime, just 10 cents. Most people pass them over, let them roll under car seats, or toss them into tip jars without a second thought. But if you have the right 1992 Roosevelt dime, with just the right combination of condition, error, and mint mark, you might just be holding something that could change your life. So stick with me, because this little silver coin could be worth more than your savings account, your car, or even your house. And we'll reveal exactly how much one of these rare dimes sold for, $93,000, but we'll save that surprise until the end. Let's start with the basics. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple in American coinage since 1946, introduced to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt. You've seen it hundreds, maybe thousands of times: Roosevelt's profile on the front, and on the back, a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. It's simple. It's iconic. It's overlooked. Now let's zoom into the year 1992. It may not seem like a historical coin year at first glance, but that's where most people miss the story. The United States Mint produced Roosevelt dimes in 1992 at 3 main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These coins can be identified by the tiny mint mark just above the date on the obverse. A P means Philadelphia, D means Denver, and an S indicates San Francisco, where most of the proof coins come from. Hundreds of millions of 1992 dimes were made, which might make you think they're all the same. But here's where things take an interesting turn. It's not about how many were made. It's about how few were made with mistakes. You see, sometimes, very rarely, a dime slips through the quality control system at the mint with a flaw. And it's these flawed coins, or error coins, that collectors are willing to pay big money for. In 1992, a few of those flawed dimes made it out into the world. And they didn't look unusual at first. They weighed the same. They felt the same. But when you looked closer, and I mean really close, the magic started to appear. Let's talk about errors, because that's the key to this coin's insane value. Some 1992 Roosevelt dimes were struck with proof dies, which are typically used only for coins intended for collectors, not everyday circulation. These proof dies can leave a sharper, clearer, almost glass-like appearance on the surface of the coin. Now imagine a coin meant for general circulation being struck with one of those proof dies by accident. That's a big deal. Then there's the missing mint mark phenomenon. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint usually bear an S mint mark. But in some incredibly rare cases, that S is missing entirely. A dime like that, from 1992, with a flawless mirror-like finish and no mint mark, becomes a mysterious and valuable anomaly, especially if it's verified by an expert grading service. Now let's add double die errors into the mix. These occur when the die strikes the coin more than once, creating a doubling effect in the letters or numbers. It's subtle, but visible under magnification, and collectors pay huge premiums for these. And of course, there's the holy grail of minting errors, a coin struck on the wrong planchet. That means a dime was struck using a blank meant for another denomination or even a coin from another country. Imagine finding a 1992 dime that weighs more or less than it should, or that has a completely different metal composition. These coins are incredibly rare, and incredibly valuable, but the biggest factor of all is condition. A coin's grade, which ranges from 1 to 70, determines just how perfect that coin really is. A 1992 Roosevelt dime with a rare error in average condition might be worth a few $100. But take that same coin in mint state condition, especially one graded MS 67 or higher, and you've just stepped into serious territory. That's why coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, are so critical. They certify the authenticity and quality of coins, and their stamps of approval can make or break a coin's value. Now here's where the story gets really crazy. One particular 1992 Roosevelt dime, featuring a rare error, perfectly preserved, authenticated by experts, and confirmed to be in stunning condition, became a headline in the coin collecting world. Most people would have looked at it and said, "It's just a dime." But it wasn't that. It was a once-in-a-lifetime find, a tiny coin with an incredible mistake, preserved through time, and passed into the hands of someone who recognized its true worth. And when it finally went to auction, the final price for that single 1992 Roosevelt dime, $93,000, yes, $93,000. For a coin that most people wouldn't even bend over to pick up off the ground. And that's why you should never overlook your change. Because you never know what you're holding. It could be a common coin, or it could be a hidden masterpiece, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you. Today. Because the coin we're diving into isn't gold. It's not silver. And it's not locked away in a museum behind glass. It's something you might have right now, sitting quietly in your pocket, purse, or old coin jar. Today, we're talking about the 1996 Roosevelt dime, a coin so small and common that most people pass it over without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these dimes could be worth thousands of times its face value? What if I told you one of these seemingly ordinary dimes has sold for an amount that could buy you a luxury car or even pay off a chunk of your mortgage? That's the mystery we're uncovering in today's video. And make sure to stay with me to the end, because we'll reveal the astonishing price one of these rare dimes recently sold for, $89,000. Let's set the stage. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946. It replaced the Mercury dime, and it was created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing in 1945. Since then, it's become one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history, used daily, rarely noticed, and often underestimated. The front of the coin features Roosevelt's left-facing profile. The back of the coin, or the reverse, showcases a torch flanked by an olive branch on one side and an oak branch on the other, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now let's jump ahead to 1996. That year marked the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime. To celebrate this milestone, the U.S. Mint released a special version of the dime, a 1996 W-proof Roosevelt dime with a W mint mark, representing the West Point Mint. It was never released into general circulation. Instead, it was included in special collector sets, making it incredibly rare and valuable when found in perfect condition. But here's the thing, the story doesn't end with the 1996 W. Because the real treasure might just lie in the regular circulation coins, those with a P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver, the ones that went through vending machines, were stuffed into pockets, or hidden in drawers for decades. Among these everyday coins are errors, small production mistakes made at the mint that can turn a common coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible. Let's talk about some of the most important types of coin errors you should be looking for when examining a 1996 Roosevelt dime. First, the double die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice, slightly out of alignment, leading to visible doubling in areas like the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. These errors are rare, but when they occur, they're obvious, and extremely valuable. Then there are off-center strikes. Imagine the coin being punched off to one side, leaving part of the design missing. The more off-center it is, the rarer it becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Collectors love these, and the more dramatic the error, the more desirable the coin. Next up, wrong planchet errors. Every coin is struck onto a blank metal disc called a planchet. But sometimes, a dime might be struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination or even a foreign coin. The weight, thickness, or color may be slightly off, and if authenticated, this kind of mistake can make the coin highly valuable. And finally, there's the mysterious missing mint mark error, where the mint mark that's supposed to be above the date just isn't there. In some cases, this is due to grease-filled dies or wear. But occasionally, it turns out to be a true minting error, the kind that collectors will pay top dollar for. But remember, errors are only half the story. The condition of the coin is what really pushes it over the edge. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin with no signs of wear, scratches, or blemishes. A regular 1996 dime might not be worth more than a few cents, but a rare error coin in MS 67 or higher condition? That's when we start entering serious money territory. Grading services like PCGS and NGC certify coins and give them a professional grade that collectors trust. If you ever find a 1996 Roosevelt dime that looks unusual or flawless, it's worth getting it graded, because you might just be holding something extraordinary. Let me tell you a quick story. A collector, just like you or me, found what looked like a normal 1996 dime. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. But they noticed something different about the finish, a strange texture, a sharpness to the design. They sent it off to be graded. The result? A rare die error. Pristine condition. Professionally certified. And then came the auction. When collectors from around the world saw the images and the grading certificate, the bidding war began. The price climbed. And climbed. And just when it seemed like it had reached its peak, that small Roosevelt dime, born in 1996, sold for an absolutely unbelievable amount. $89,000, yes. $89,000. For a dime, not a gold coin. Not an ancient artifact. Just a Roosevelt dime with the right mix of rarity, error, and condition. So what does this mean for you? It means that every time you check your change, you have a chance, however small, to discover something extraordinary. That dime in your hand could be worth far more than 10 cents. It could be a lost gem, a minting mistake, a forgotten treasure that only needs someone with a curious eye to recognize it. So don't just spend your change. Study it. Explore it. Get a magnifier, start sorting through those coin jars, and pay close attention to the Roosevelt dimes from 1996. Who knows, your next find might be the one that changes everything. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one of America's most beloved and widely circulated coins, the Roosevelt dime. But not just any Roosevelt dime, we're focusing on the 1991 Roosevelt dime, a coin that might seem ordinary to the untrained eye but holds secrets that can unlock astonishing value. Now, the Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a figure whose legacy is etched into the heart of the nation. This dime has passed through millions of hands, often overlooked as mere pocket change, but as with many coins, the true story lies beneath the surface. The year 1991 might not stand out immediately in the minds of most collectors, but that's exactly what makes this coin so intriguing. While millions of these dimes were minted across different U.S. mint locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, there are particular mint marks and variations that have catapulted certain specimens into the spotlight of numismatic enthusiasts and serious investors alike. First, let's talk about what makes a 1991 Roosevelt dime special. Most dimes from this year were produced with great precision, but a handful escaped the mint with unique characteristics, tiny imperfections or errors that create a rarity in an otherwise common coin. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity is the name of the game. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1991 Roosevelt dime is the mint mark. You'll find these little letters just below the year on the coin's obverse side, indicating where the coin was struck. The letter P stands for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. While the Philadelphia Mint didn't place mint marks on coins from 1980 through 1982, by 1991, they were back in full effect. However, the true magic happens when certain errors and anomalies meet exceptional condition. For instance, there have been rare sightings of 1991 Roosevelt dimes with double die obverse errors, where the coin's details, such as the inscriptions or date, appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die during the striking process. This type of error makes the coin an instant collector's gem. Another intriguing variation to watch for is the missing or repunched mint mark. Sometimes, the mint mark is faint, doubled, or even completely missing, errors caused during the minting process. These can significantly affect the coin's desirability and value. Coins with such anomalies can fetch much higher prices because they're extremely scarce. In addition, some 1991 Roosevelt dimes are noted for off-center strikes. This is when the coin is struck slightly askew, resulting in a portion of the design missing or off the edge. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark remain fully visible. But let's not forget the absolute most crucial factor when it comes to coin value: the condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, pristine specimen with no signs of wear or damage. A rare error coin in poor condition might be worth a few $100 or $1,000, but a coin that boasts a rare error and an ultra-high grade can command prices that seem unbelievable. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC play an essential role here, authenticating and assigning grades to coins, which gives buyers confidence in what they're purchasing. A 1991 Roosevelt dime with a certified grade of MS 67 or higher, especially with a minting error, is a treasure many collectors would fight to own. Now, here's where the story gets really exciting. One extraordinary 1991 Roosevelt dime with a rare double die error, a perfectly struck mint mark, and an impeccable mint state grade, went up for auction not long ago. This coin captured the attention of collectors worldwide, sparking an intense bidding war. The final hammer price for this rare specimen was jaw-dropping. This single 1991 Roosevelt dime sold for an astounding $100,000. Yes, you heard that right. $100,000 for a dime that most people see as just everyday pocket change. So what does this mean for you? It means that sometimes, the most unassuming coins hold incredible stories and immense value. You just need the eye to spot them. Today, we're zooming in on a coin you might think you know inside and out, the Roosevelt dime from 2004. On the surface, it looks like just another dime, but hidden within this ordinary coin lies a potential treasure that can blow your mind. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But the 2004 edition is especially interesting because it sits in a unique time frame, right before the U.S. Mint made several changes in the coin production process in the mid-2000s. It's a transitional year with intriguing possibilities, especially for collectors who pay attention to mint marks and subtle minting errors. First, let's talk about the basics. The 2004 Roosevelt dime features the classic obverse portrait of Roosevelt, a symbol of strength and determination. The reverse shows the iconic torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. The coin's mint mark, found just above the date on the obverse side, tells you where it was minted: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. Now here's where it gets fascinating. The 2004 dimes, particularly those with the D and S mint marks, have some rare and valuable variants that many collectors overlook. These variants come in the form of die errors, double strikes, and unusual planchet anomalies that make certain 2004 dimes incredibly rare. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions or date appear to be stamped twice. This subtle doubling can be seen on letters in Liberty, In God We Trust, or the numerals of the date itself. When discovered in pristine condition, these coins skyrocket in value because they are so rare. Another type of error to look out for is the off-center strike, where the coin is not perfectly aligned during minting. This can range from a slight misalignment to a dramatic shift that causes part of the design to be missing. The rarer and more perfectly preserved these coins are, the more valuable they become. There are also rare clad errors in 2004 dimes. These happen when a dime is struck on the wrong metal blank. Instead of the usual copper-nickel clad, some coins accidentally got struck on a pure copper or other metal planchet, which makes them incredibly unique and collectible. Of course, none of this is worth much unless the coin is in exceptional condition. The grading of coins ranges from poor to mint state 70, which is a perfect coin with no imperfections. Coins graded MS 65 and above, especially with errors or rare mint marks, become collectors' gold mines. One more detail: the 2004 Roosevelt dime with an S mint mark is even more precious because San Francisco dimes were primarily made for proof sets, meaning they weren't meant for circulation. So finding one in mint condition is a thrill for collectors. Now imagine combining rarity, mint mark, error, and pristine condition all in one coin. That's when things get truly extraordinary. Recently, an exceptional 2004 Roosevelt dime with a rare mint mark and a spectacular minting error went under the hammer at auction. This dime had a flawless surface, stunning detail, and an error that made it a one-of-a-kind piece for collectors. Bidding wars ensued, and collectors from around the globe clamored for the chance to own this coin. When the final bid was placed, the price was nothing short of astonishing. This 2004 Roosevelt dime sold for a staggering $110,000. Yes, you heard that right. $110,000 for a single dime minted just under 2 decades ago. What does this tell us? It tells us that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places. The coins in your pocket, your drawer, or your old coin collection might hold secrets worth far more than you realize. So next time you find a Roosevelt dime from 2004, don't just toss it aside. Inspect it carefully. Look for those tiny, rare errors, check the mint mark, and if something catches your eye, get it professionally graded. You might just be holding a future fortune. Thanks for joining me on this fascinating journey into the 2004 Roosevelt dime. If you love this video and want more deep dives into rare coins, tips on spotting errors, and stories of unbelievable coin values, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your collection growing, because you never know when a dime could change your life. Happy collecting!